Welcome back to the Crash Course Podcast. My name is Craig Crash Collins. I'm joined as always by Brandon Scott. You know him as B. Scott. Well, we are about a week away from the IHSAA Girls Basketball State Tournament. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're really excited about it, and tonight we're going to preview it all. We're going to break down and predict all 64 sectionals for all four classes, starting with Sectional 1 in 4A, all the way down to Sectional 64 in 1A. We're going to give you who we think is going to win those individual brackets, as well as who we think is going to be cutting down the nets for each class at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. It's going to be an exciting tournament. March Madness already here in January, so the madness already starts, and it's not even into February yet. B. Scott, we're already talking about playoff basketball.
I know it feels so early for it to have already been starting, but I guess not. I mean, it's that time of year. I mean, you got girls sectional starting up next week, and you got wrestling sectionals starting up this coming weekend, or was it this past weekend? I mean, it was this past weekend. So it's that time of year. The winter sports are starting to wrap up. Let's jump into this.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting tournament. Of course, last year was an exciting tournament as well. And so let's highlight some teams that are coming into the tournament hot. We have 11 teams that are heading into the sectional play with one loss or fewer. You have Rensselaer Central in 3A, who is undefeated at 19-0. This is as of this weekend when I was doing the outline, so I don't think they've played a game since then. You've also got Lawrence Central in 4A, who has the most wins with 22. You've got 27 players who are averaging 20 points or more per game. You've got Samantha Redinger from Argus, who leads the state, averaging 32 points per contest. She dropped 55 against Oregon Davis earlier this month. She's got 2 games with 50+, 4 games with 40+ points. And then you've got the defending champs. Taking a look at them, you've got Bedford North Lawrence in 4A. They're 16-4, ranked 17th in the class. Fairfield, the 3A defending champ, they're 19-3. Forest Park, a little bit of a down year. They're 6-13. They're the 2A defending champ. And then Lanesville in the catbird seat yet again, the 1A defending champ. They're 20-1, the top ranked team in the class. So a lot of good storylines, a lot of great teams going into sectional play, which gets started next Tuesday.
Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, there's some of these sectionals that really are standing out, and I think the competition's going to be pretty fierce. So let's get ready to crown some state champions.
So we're going to do what we've done the last couple of years, and we're going to do 64 sectionals in 64 minutes. So we're going to start the clock. We've been recording for 3 minutes, so if we do this right, we'll be concluding the podcast at the hour and 7 minute mark. So we'll see. Probably a little bit sooner than that, to be honest with you, but we're gonna try to get through. We try to talk about every single team, every single bracket here. Now, gonna start it off with how we do every single time when we talk about, especially with the high school sports, because there's so many teams. You all know your team better than we do. You guys know the intricacies. You guys have watched your team all year. So, if we get something wrong, let us know down in the comments. Please forgive us. We dove deep into these teams, but obviously we have 64 sectionals, all of which have 4, 5, 6, 7 teams in them. So it doesn't. We can't possibly watch all of these teams all year. So give us your insights. Tell us where we went wrong. Excuse me, down in the comments. But like you said, B. Scott, let's get going right here with Class 4A. We started off in Sectional 1, the Lake Central Sectional, and we're going to start it off hot with the home team winning this one. I've got number 12, Lake Central, winning this tournament, or winning this bracket. The Indians are 18-4. They're ranked in the top 20 in the state in terms of the Sagarin ratings, and have cruised against the other strong teams in the bracket. They won by 17 over 16-5 Hammond Central in November. They defeated 17-3 Munster in November as well. And then they beat 14-8 Maryville by 17 in December. So the other teams that you would think would challenge them, in this sectional, they've wiped the floor with them. So give me Lake Central in sectional 1.
Yeah, I'm going with Lake Central as well. A lot of some of these programs have some have some good history or some good players coming out of there, but Lake Central is probably the strongest team in this sectional, so I'm going with them as well.
Sectional 2, the Valparaiso sectional, and you know what? You see a trend here. I'm going to go with the home team again. Give me Valparaiso. It's a toss-up between them and Chesterton. I really kind of wanted to go with Chesterton because they've won their last 6 heading into they had won their last 6 heading into the weekend, whereas Valpo had lost 5 of their last 6. But the Vikings are at home, where they're 7-3, including a 62-46 win over Chesterton in December. So that gave Valparaiso the edge for me, and I think they win sectional 2.
Yeah, this one's another tough one for me. I'm actually going to go with Chesterton just because they are on a roll right now. They have finished the regular season with some momentum. I like momentum carrying into the postseason. Give me Chesterton.
I mean, yeah, you can't go wrong there. Like I said, it was a toss up for me. So I think either of those teams are very capable of taking home a trophy at the end of the bracket. Sectional 3, the South Bend Washington sectional, and believe me, I will get off of this trend at some point, but I'm gonna go again with the home team. Give me the number 10 team in 4A, South Bend Washington. The Panthers are 16-4. They boast the 8th best offense in the state, third in 4A, averaging 64 points per game. South Bend, Washington is also ranked 10th in the state in the Sagarin ratings. Everybody else in the sectional is ranked outside the top 100, so they're far and away the best overall team in the bracket, so I'm going with the home team.
South Bend, Washington is known for having some D1 talent. They have D1 talent on this team right now as we speak. I'm going South Bend, Washington as well. There's nobody else really I could pick.
Sectional 4, the Northridge sectional. And again, like I said, I promise I will buck this trend eventually. Give me number 12, the home team, Northridge. 4 sectionals in another bracket where I'm picking the home team. But they're just really strong. Warsaw and Northridge both have top 20 offenses in the state. Warsaw averages 62 points per game. That's 15th in Indiana, 9th in 4A. Northridge scores 61 points per game. That's good enough for 18th in the state, 12th in the class. But however, the Raiders defense is far superior, allowing 37 points per game to the Tigers 50. Warsaw did beat Northridge by 13 at home on January 6th, but I'm going to fade that result in the rematch. Give me Northridge.
Yeah, I'm going with Northridge as well. They've gotten the job done throughout the entire season, top to bottom. I mean, they've only lost 3 times this year, so they're going to avenge one of those losses here in the sectional.
Sectional 5, the Carroll Fort Wayne sectional. And I'm, shockingly enough, here's where the trend ends. I am going with number 5, Fort Wayne Schneider. The Panthers are 18-2, number 2 in the state in the Sagarin ratings. They score 61 points per game, which is good enough for 10th in 4A. They're 16th in the state in that category. Schneider also has Purdue commit Jordan Poole. She averages 17.5 points per game, 5 assists, 3 steals. She is a force for that team, and I think she's going to will the Panthers to a sectional 5 victory.
Yeah, I don't think anybody really has anything in this sectional for Fort Wayne Schneider. Again, D1 talent rises to the top typically this time of year, and Fort Wayne Schneider definitely has that.
Sectional 6, the Columbia City sectional, and I'm back on the trend. Give me the home team, the number 3, Columbia City squad. In this bracket, you've got 2 of the top 10 teams in 4A. You've got number 3, Columbia City, the top team according to the Sagarin ratings. This is according to the John Harrell website. Again, we cannot do this show without John Harrell and Max Preps. Those are 2 really reliable sites. That's what we use to compile our research. You've also got number 9, Homestead, who's 14th in the Sagarin ratings. The Eagles have the 2nd best offense in the class, the 6th best offense in the state, averaging 64 points per game. Their defense allows 38 points per game. Homestead can hang statistically. They score 63 points per game. They're 11th in the state and 5th in 4A, and also allow 41 points per game. But Columbia City is at home and is 11-0 against 4A opponents this season, so they get the nod for me. I just think they're too strong. Give me the number 3rd ranked team in 4A.
This one is going to be a fun one just because of the Homestead and Columbia City matchup there. But I'm going with Columbia City as well. Look, playing at home makes a huge difference. Homestead's going to have to travel. I'm going with the home team, Columbia City.
Now I do want to look up something real quick, and of course, I don't think it's going to be real quick because it's going to take a minute to load it. But I wanted to see if these teams are still ranked where they are. Do you have that up, B Scott? Is Columbia City still third?
I have Columbia City here on Max Preps at 7.
Okay. Well, that's probably for the state, right? Or not for.
This is for 4. This is for
Okay, but not the. So okay, because I was going off John Harrell's ranking, so I'll look that up in a second.
Hold on, let me check here. I may have been on the state. Yeah, it's 4A. It's for
Okay.
4A.
Speaking of 7, sectional 7, the Kokomo sectional. I'm going with McCutcheon here. The Mavericks are 10-0 against 4A opponents and are 6-0 against sectional 7 opponents, including a 15-point win over Kokomo in December. McCutcheon and Kokomo are the only 2 teams in sectional 7 who are above 500. The McCutcheon squad also has Lily Graves, who is 14th in the state in scoring, averaging 22 points per game. She's an elite scorer, and she's going to help will that Maverick squad to the sectional 7 title.
Yeah, I'm going with McCutcheon as well. They just have the firepower to get the job done. When you have a guard or you have a player that can just go get you points and score in bunches, that goes a long way, especially in sectionals. So yeah, give me McCutcheon.
Columbia City is still ranked third. I wanted to look it up because I know that number 1 Hamilton Southeastern lost this weekend, and now they've dropped to number 5th. And I was like, wait, I know I have them still as number 1 in mind. I wanted to double check.
Yeah, on Max Preps, HSC is 4th.
Okay, so
LC is 1. You said, yeah, okay, never mind.
Well, because I'm going on John Harrell's.
Yeah, so we're both working off of 2 separate rankings right now.
Right, right.
But they're right in the ballpark.
Right. So sectional, the reason why is because the next sectional we're going to is sectional 8, the Hamilton Southeastern sectional. And I'm going with the number 5 team in the state, Hamilton Southeastern. The Royals have the best offense in the state, averaging 68 points per game. That's thanks in large part to IU commit Maya McCluskey, who averages 27 points per game, which is 4th best in Indiana. She also collects 6 boards per game. Every team in the sectional is ranked in the top 40 in the Sagarin ratings and is in the top 11 in terms of strength of schedule. So it's going to be a close sectional. It's going to be a fun sectional. There's going to be a lot of good teams here. You've got looking at it real quick, who's in this sectional. Here you got
Hamilton Southeastern, right. Zionsville, Noblesville, Fishers, Carmel, and Westfield.
Right. So a lot of good teams in that sectional. So it'll be a fun one to watch, but I'm going with HSE in this one.
Yeah, I'm going with HSE as well. This one's a little bit tougher, but HSE has that winning heritage, I guess, recent state championships. It's going to be a very tough one because 4 of those teams are on Max Preps are ranked in the top 25. It's going to be a fun one to watch, but give me HSC just because they have been solid all year. And their loss they took recently was to Lawrence North. So not a bad loss for them whatsoever.
Moving on to sectional 9, the Mount Vernon Fortville sectional. I'm going with Pendleton Heights here. The Arabians are 37th in the state, 22nd in 4A offensively, scoring 58 points per game. They've got a top 10 scorer in the state in Casey Warfel. She's 9th in Indiana in scoring, averaging 25 points per game. She also tallies 6 rebounds per game and 6 steals, so she is an absolute monster for the Arabians, and I think she's going to help get Pendleton Heights to the sectional title.
Yeah, I like Pendleton Heights in this one as well. They can put up They score at a high clip, so give me Pendleton Heights on that one.
Sectional 10, the Indianapolis Cathedral sectional, and I'm going with the number 8 team in 4A, Lawrence North. It's a coin flip between North and Lawrence Central to me. You've got LC, who is 22-1. Their only loss coming to George Rogers Clark of Kentucky. They're ranked third in the state in the Sagarin ratings. You've got Lawrence North, who is rated fifth with the best strength of schedule in the state. They're 16-4 on the season. What gives me a hunch towards Lawrence North is that when they've played LC this season, they've lost twice, both times on the road. They lost by 2 on the road December 7th and by 3 on January 11th. So it's really tough to beat a team 3 times. This time it's on a neutral court, so I think this time the Wildcats pull it off. So I'm going Lawrence North here.
Yeah, this one is definitely a coin flip. My heart tells me Lawrence North. As a Lawrence North alum, I can't pick against them, especially with LC. But really, when I look at this, I'm going with Lawrence North as well. Just like you said, it is tough to beat a team 3 times. And I think Lawrence North will come in with a game plan that will be able to help them upset Lawrence Central and get the win really when it matters most.
Sectional number 11. That's the Pike sectional. I'm going with Franklin Central. They and Roncalli are the only 2 teams in the sectional above 500, and the Flashes are the only team with a winning record against 4A opponents. So go Flashes. Franklin Central, get it done.
I'm going with the Flashes as well. Yeah, when you have when you're the only team in your sectional to have a winning record over your class, yeah, that's an easy pick.
The Avon sectional 12. I'm going with Plainfield because they're the only team above 500 in that sectional. So those ones are the easy ones to pick. Give me the only team that's got a winning record.
Yep, Plainfield for me as well. Top 25 team, winning record. Only team with a winning record in a sectional. Go Plainfield.
Sectional 13. That's the Mooresville sectional. I thought about going with the home team. They're 17-4 on the year, and they have a statistically better defense than Center Grove, which is the team I am going to pick. Center Grove is the number 2 team in 4A. They're 20-1. They're the 11th best offense in 4A. They're 17th in the state. They score 61 points per game, and they just knocked off Hamilton Southeastern. And not only did they beat Hamilton Southeastern, it was on the road, and they beat them by 16 points. So to have that decisive of a win this late in the year, that's a statement win. They're going into the tournament with a lot of momentum, so I think Center Grove is going to take sectional 13. They're going to take home a trophy in that sectional.
Yeah, Center Grove is a really good pick, but I'm just going to go ahead and go with the home team here, and I'm going with Mooresville. Just because I need to pick differently at some point. And, somewhere along the line, there's going to be some upsets that happen. I guess Lawrence North over Lawrence Central could be considered an upset, but go ahead and give me Mooresville to upset Center Grove and take home sectional 13.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there are going to be upsets. It's tough to tell sometimes, especially come tournament time, what's going to happen. So you never know where those upsets are going to lie. The Whiteland sectional 14. I'm going with Franklin. That's the number 6 team in 4A. They're 4-0 against sectional 14 opponents, winning by an average of 30 points per game. So they have cruised against their fellow sectional 14 squads. So I think they get the win.
I'm going with Franklin as well, but I gotta go with their legit name, Franklin Community, as I know them best. Franklin Community. Give me the Grizz. Franklin Community.
Sectional 15, the Floyd Central sectional. I'm going with number 7, Jennings County. They're 19-3 on the season. They're 6-0 against sectional 15 opponents. They won each of those games by double figures, including a 17-point win over 4A defending champ Bedford North Lawrence on January 3rd. They're 8th in 4A, 14th in the state offensively, scoring 62 points per game. They also have a Michigan State commit in Julianne Woodard. So they've got a lot going for them. Give me Jennings County.
I'm going to take Bedford North Lawrence in this one. That's just they know how to turn it on this time of year. They know what it takes to get to Gainbridge. So I'm going with Bedford North Lawrence.
And then the final sectional in Class 4A, it's the Evansville Harrison sectional. I'm going with Evansville Central. Nearly every school in the bracket is well over 500, but not every team has Madeline Shirley. She averages 19 points per game. She has 8 rebounds, 3 blocks. She's 36th in the state in scoring, so they've got a top 40 scorer in the state, and they are 18-4. They've won 5 in a row, so they've got a ton of things going for them. A top 40 scorer. They've got an incredible record. They're on a winning streak. Evansville Central's ruling right now. Give me the Bears.
I'm going to go a little bit different. Give me Castle in this one. I think these two teams are pretty evenly matched, but crazy things happen this time of year, and here's another one of them. Give me Castle.
So before we move on to 3A, we're going to pick a state champ for 4A, who we think is going to be cutting down the nets at Gainbridge Fieldhouse coming up at the end of February. I was a toss-up for me. I was between Hamilton Southeastern and Fort Wayne Snyder. They both have difference makers scoring the basketball, but I'm going to ultimately go with Fort Wayne Snyder. They are better defensively, holding teams to 40 points per game, while HSE allows 54 points per game. So they've got an elite scorer. They have an elite scorer. Fort Wayne Snyder has an elite scorer in Jordan Poole, and they've got a really great defense, and that's a recipe for success. So I think Fort Wayne Snyder is going to be holding up that trophy at the end of the year at Gainbridge.
I'm actually going to say Lawrence North is going to win it, mostly because this is another good opportunity for them to win both the girls and the boys state championships. Currently, they have the second-rated team on the boys side of things. So yeah, give me Lawrence North because I would love to see the double state championships.
Hey, so you gotta.
I mean, this is a team that they've been there several times. It's a basketball school.
Yeah, I mean, they get it. Both teams are really strong, so that's a very good pick. So who knows? Maybe that will happen. When's the last time we saw that happen?
I don't think we've ever seen that happen.
I think didn't Wharton Central have both
No.
the men's and women's team win?
Did they?
I think so. I can't remember when, but I feel like they did.
I mean, the only thing I remember with Warren Central was
they went undefeated.
That, and they also won football state in the same year.
Maybe it's that. I'm
which was a big deal. But I don't think there's ever. I can't remember. I mean, it may have happened in a lower class than 4A, but I can't think of any time that's happened. It's come close a couple times. I think Lawrence North has almost pulled it off a couple times here in recent memory, but lost both times. So.
Well, so you have Lawrence North. I've got Fort Wayne Snyder. We'll see what happens there. Moving on to 3A. And who we think are going to win those sectionals. It starts off in sectional 17, the Highland sectional, and I'm going to go with the home team. 5 of the 7 teams in this bracket have 5 wins or fewer. This will be decided by either Highland, who's 12-6, or Hanover Central, who's 14-5, and I'm going to go with the home team. Give me Highland.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Highland here as well. Again, it comes down to being able to play on your own home court.
The Rochester sectional 18. I'm going with Tippecanoe Valley. The Vikings are 16-3, 9-2 against 3A opponents, and 5-0 in sectional play. They're the only team in the bracket above 500 overall, and against Class 3A. So, they're a really strong team, and I think they're going to get it done.
Yep, I'm going Tippecanoe Valley here as well. Only 3 losses on the year to keep it rolling.
Sectional 19, the New Prairie sectional. I'm going with New Prairie. The Cougars are 18-4, winners of 5 straight coming into tonight. They're 4-0 in sectional play tonight, as in we're recording this on Tuesday night, so we'll have the results. Maybe they won't be winners of 5 straight. Maybe they'll be winners of 6 straight. But regardless, they're 8-0 versus Class 3A, and the only team in the bracket with a winning record. So I'm going New Prairie in sectional 19.
Yeah, when you're the only team with a winning record in your sectional, you get to go home with it. Give me New Prairie.
Sectional 20, the West Noble sectional. I'm going Northwood here. Normally, I would be drawn in by Fairfield. They're the 19-3 3A defending champs. They're top 10 in defense in the state. best in the class, allowing 33 points per game. So they've got a strong defense. They're the defending champs. But about a month ago, Northwood defeated Fairfield 36-21. So not only did the Panthers lock down the defending champions defensively, but they put up close to 40 on that defense. So that's convincing enough for me to think that this 17-5 Northwood squad, who holds teams to just 38 points per game themselves, can come up big again. So I think Northwood wins sectional 20.
You know, eventually the crash kiss of death is going to rear its head again. I think it's going to happen here. Go ahead and give me Fairfield.
Yeah, I mean, Fairfield's a good pick. They've got a lot going for them. Like I said, I'm so impressed with that one. I understand it's just one game, but that one game is just so impressive that I'm like, man, I think that's enough for me to sway me. So, but yeah, Fairfield definitely can't go wrong. I wouldn't be surprised if they're playing in the state championship yet again. Sectional 21, that's the Garrett sectional. I'm going Angola. It's a tough one. Angola's 12-8. You've got Woodland, who's 14-8, and Leo, who's 11-7. They all have obviously similar records. However, the Hornets have won 7 of their last 8 and are 4-1 against sectional 21 opponents. Their only loss came to Leo, who is undefeated in sectional play, which is a 6-point loss that they had in December. But when we do get the rematch to kick off sectional 21, and I'll just fade that result. So I think Angola gets the rematch against Leo, and then they go on to win sectional 21.
I'm going with Woodland. No other reason, and 14 pull off 14 wins. That's a lot. I think they just get the job done. They come in there. Leo and Angola right off the bat it's going to wear one of those two teams down coming out of that. So give me Woodland in this sectional.
Sectional 22, the Twin Lakes sectional. I'm going with number 6 Benton Central, but this sectional is going to be absolutely bonkers. You've got number 3 Rensselaer Central, who's 19-1. They're seventh in the state in scoring, averaging 64 points per game. That's good enough for 4th in 3A. They're 20th in Indiana defensively, allowing 34 points per game. That's 5th in 3A. You've got number 6 Benton Central, who's 21-3, 23rd in the state in scoring, averaging 60 points per game. That's good enough for 6th in 3A. They're 36th in the Hoosier State defensively, allowing 35 points per game. That's 9th in 3A. You've also got number 11 Western, who is 15-4, 39th in Indiana in scoring, averaging 58 points per game. They're 9th in 3A. But give me the Bison because 2 of their 3 losses are to Rensselaer Central. Again, it's really hard to beat a team 3 times. Their first matchup was a 4-point loss to Rensselaer Central in November. Then their second matchup was a 7-point road loss in December. So the first 2 matchups were close. I think the third time's the charm for the Bison. Give me Benton Central to win sectional 22.
I'm going Rensselaer Central here. I know I said earlier it is hard to beat a team 3 times, like you said as well. But you know what? I think it happens here. I'm taking Rensselaer Central.
Sectional 23. That's the Maconaquah sectional. I'm going with number 2 Norwell. The Knights have the best record in the bracket and beat the best team. Sorry, the Knights have the best record in the bracket and beat the best team. I can't talk. And beat the team with the second best record in the bracket, that's Belmont. They're 14-6. They beat them by 30 earlier this month. So when you're the best team in the bracket and you're beating the second best team by 30 points, I think that's a pretty good sign to just say, let's go ahead and that's one you're writing in pen when you're filling out your bracket. So give me number 2 Norwell to win sectional 23.
Yeah, I'm going to take Norwell in this one as well. I'm just not looking over this. I don't see anybody else. Maybe Belmont gives them a run, but I think Norwell takes it.
The Yorktown sectional 24. I'm going with the number 1 team in 3A. That's Hamilton Heights. Number 1 Hamilton Heights and number 12 Jay County are on a collision course towards the sectional final. You've got Heights, who's 19-2, with the 10th best offense in 3A. That's which is good enough for 41st in the state. They average 58 points per game. Their defense is 3rd in 3A, 13th in Indiana, allowing 33 points per game. Jay County is 10th in 3A on defense, 40th in the state, allowing 36 points per game. They're also 19-2. The Huskies are better offensively and defensively, and beat Jay County by 12 back in November. So I'm going Hamilton Heights. They win sectional 24.
You know what? I'm going with Jay County. I don't have a good reason. It's a gut feel on this. And when it gets down to this time of year, that's about as good as as anything. So I'm gonna take Jay County here.
Hey, look, there's 64 sectionals, right? So there's so many teams. There's 64 sectionals. There was several times during the course of filling all this out, where I was like staring blankly at my computer screen. Sometimes you just got to go with your gut. You're just like,
especially in these closer matchups. Yeah, right. It's like,
yeah,
I can overlook the analytics and everything, but you know what? Jay County.
Well, I mean, like I say it every year when I'm asking people, like, I'll ask people like, hey, do you want to do like a bracket challenge, like come tournament time? I'm like, hey, do you want to, like, I'll be like at work, and like nobody at my job follows college basketball, and I'm still like, hey, do you want to fill out brackets? And they're like, oh, well, we don't really follow along. I'm like, but the example I always give is when I did it my freshman year at La Follette. On C3, we had a C3, Clevenger Hall, rip La Follette. We had a bracket pool, and of course, you have all of us, guys who were, watch college basketball all year, really excited, whatever. We've all filled out our bracket, so we're like going through, like, okay, these teams are, this good versus this time. Like, we're going through all the stats and all that stuff. The guy who won it not only didn't watch a lick of basketball all year, didn't even watch the tournament. We had to like tell him, like, hey, dude, you won. Like, hey man, I don't know if you know this, but you won the whole thing. And so, like, that's how it is sometimes. Sometimes you just got to throw caution to the wind and just go with what you're feeling.
It's the Peyton Manning SNL skit where the person was picking based off of mascots.
Right. So, you never can tell with some of this stuff. Moving on to the Cascade sectional, that's sectional 25. I'm going Danville. The Warriors are 18-3, undefeated versus 3A opponents, and they're 6-0 in sectional play. So I'm going Danville there.
Yeah, give me Danville in that one as well.
In sectional 26, that's the Indian Creek sectional, or excuse me, that's the Owen Valley sectional, and I'm going with number 5, Indian Creek. The Braves are 16-4. Their only losses coming to 4A opponents. They're second in 3A, fourth in the state in scoring, averaging 66 points per game. Part of that electric offense is IU commit Faith Wiseman, who averages 19 points per game. Northview is technically better record-wise at 17-3 and is 8th in 3A defensively, allowing 35 points per game. However, Indian Creek having a top 50 score and Wiseman gets the edge for me. Go Indian Creek. They win that sectional.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Northview on this one. Again, this one's a coin toss between them and Indian Creek, but I'm going to take Northview just because I feel like they're going to be the ones that come home.
Sectional 27, that's the Chittard sectional, and I'm going with Chittard. The Trojans who are 14-7. You've got Brebeuf in that sectional, who's 15-6. You've got Indy Heron, who's 15-6. They all obviously have similar records, so I'm just going with the home team. So give me Chittard to win that sectional.
You know what? I've got connections. I used to be a coach at Brebeuf. Give me Brebeuf. I like the Braves, so let's go.
The Beech Grove sectional 28. I'm going with Speedway, the Spark Plugs. They're 7-1 against 3A opponents. They're the only sectional 28 team with a winning record in that category. So give me Speedway. There's going to be a celebration in the shadows of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah, I'm going with Speedway as well. Having a winning record against your own class, you have to show that in order to even be considered. But so 7-1 against your own class, nobody else is even close to that. Yeah, Speedway.
The Lawrenceburg sectional 29. I'm going with number 7, Greensburg. The Pirates are 16-4, but they're undefeated against 3A teams, including a 6-0 record versus sectional 29 opponents. They're winning those games by an average margin of 29 points. So they are wiping the floor with those opponents in their sectional. So I'm going Greensburg in this one.
Yep, I'm taking Greensburg as well. I don't think this one's going to be close.
Sectional 30, that's the Charlestown sectional. I am going with number 8, Scottsburg. The Warriors are 19-2, 7-0 versus Class 3A opponents. They're 5-0 versus sectional 30 teams, including a 9-point win versus Charlestown in December. Charlestown has the second best record in the bracket at 15-6. So they won not decisively. I mean, that's a close game, 9 points in my opinion, at least. Anything within 10 points, in my opinion, in basketball, closer game at least. But still, they had the big win. It was on the road. So on a neutral court, I think they still get it done. Or I guess no, it'll still be on the road again. So they did already prove they could beat Charlestown in Charlestown. So give me Scottsburg to get that one done in sectional 30.
You know what? I'm feeling frisky. Give me Charlestown. They got the home court advantage. Let's go.
And you talked about the crash kiss of death. Sometimes the best strategy is to fade whatever I pick. So I mean that's that's sometimes the best way to go. Sectional 31. That's the Southridge sectional. And I am going with number 10, Washington. They're 18-4, 5-0 in sectional play. 4 of those wins were by double figures, including an 11-point win over 17-4 Princeton earlier in January. That's the second best team in that sectional. So give me Washington.
Yeah, I'm taking Washington in this one as well. They got really good talent on that team. So I think they come home with it.
Final sectional of Class 3A. It's the Boonville sectional, sectional 32. And I'm going to go with number 4, Gibson Southern. We've got 2 top 10 teams in this bracket. Gibson Southern, who's 18-4. They're the top team in 3A, second in the state in scoring, averaging 66 points per game. You've got number 9, Evansville Memorial. They're 18-3. They're 8th in 3A, 30th in the state in scoring, averaging 59 points per game. But I'm going with the Titans, ultimately because in addition to having the better offense, they have a top 25 scorer in the state, Gabby Spink, who averages 21 points per game. That's 22nd in the state as far as scoring goes. So I'm going with the Titans to win sectional 32.
Yeah, I'm going with the Titans of Gibson Southern as well. Like, again, earlier I mentioned, if you have a player that can just score in bunches, that goes a long way, especially in sectionals when it's a grind. Sectionals is truly a grind.
So our state championship prediction for Class 3A. Again, there's a lot of ways you can go with a 3A prediction. I was between Hamilton Heights and Gibson Southern. Ultimately, though, I am going to go with Gibson Southern. I'm going with the Titans because they have an offense that is comparable to Hamilton Heights and, again, a top 25 scorer in Spink, who I think will be the difference maker. So when you have an offense that can hang with the best offenses in your class and you have a difference maker who can score the basketball, that bodes well for you. Gibson Southern takes home the 3A title for me.
You know what? I'm actually going to go with Washington. I think that team's has some really good talent to it. And one thing we've noticed here in the past few years, it feels like, is it's not always the top ranked team, especially when we start getting down in these lower classes. But Washington has that championship pedigree. I'm probably going to be wrong, but I'm going with Washington.
Hey, I mean, sometimes like you said, a lot of times I can't remember. There wasn't it. I think it was last year where there wasn't like the last few years. I feel like there's not been any like 1 versus 2 or like 1 versus 3. It's been a lot of like the 7th ranked team makes it or whatever. So I mean you're spot on with that. So who knows? Maybe they have a run and it's who can put it together at the right time. Maybe they do get it done. Class 2A. We kick things off with the Lake Station sectional 33. I'm going with the home team. The home team has the most wins in sectional play versus Class 2A opponents and overall than any of the other teams in sectional 33. So they have a clean sweep atop the boards in sectional 33. So give me Lake Station.
Yep, I agree. Lake Station brings home sectional 33.
Sectional 34, that's the North Judson sectional. I'm going with South Central Union Mills. Well, first and foremost, their nickname is the Satellites. So come on, how can you not go with a team called the Satellites?
Like we went over this last year.
Yeah.
Too.
Well, so yeah, I can't remember what team that was we talked about. But yeah, I mean, when you got a team like the Satellites, I mean, come on, you got to go with them. They're undefeated. They're 15-4. They're undefeated in sectional play and versus sectional opponents. Including a 22-point win over North Judson. The home squad is the only other team above 500 in the bracket. So when they beat North Judson, the only other really strong team in their bracket by 22. So that's convincing enough for me. And again, they're the satellites. So give me South Central Union Mills to take sectional 34.
Yeah, I'm going with South Central Union Mills, the satellites as well.
Sectional 35. The East Side sectional. I'm going with number 7 East Side. The home team is 20-3, boasting 8 more wins than Fremont, the second best teams in terms of record in the bracket. So I'm going with the Blazers.
Yeah, give me the Blazers as well. They're the higher ranked team in this sectional, and sometimes you just got to go chalk.
Sectional 36, that's the North Miami sectional. I'm going with number 10, Lewis Cass. The Kings came into this week sitting at 18-2, riding a 7-game winning streak. They have by far the best record of any team in the bracket, so I'm going with Lewis Cass.
Yeah, give me Lewis Cass as well. Coming in on a hot streak, and I think it continues right through sectionals.
The South Adams sectional is where we're going next. That's sectional 37. Give me Whitko. This is the first tough bracket for me for 2A, but I am going with Whitko. The Wildcats started 1-2, but have won 14 of their last 15 games. Their 57 points per game is good enough for 8th in the class, 45th in the state, so a top 50 offense in Indiana, and they are rolling right now, having won 14 of their last 15. Give me Whitko.
Yeah, this one's a tough one for me as well, but I do like Whitko. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Let me make sure I'm getting my numbers correct. Scratch that. I'm going with Bluffton. Give me Bluffton.
Well, to not so fast, my friend.
Yeah, not so fast, my friend. If I had a mascot head for whatever Bluffton is, I may put it on, but no, we're not going to do that.
No, not at all.
That might be copyright infringement.
Yeah, we don't want to get sued. Sectional 38, that's the Delphi sectional. I'm going with number 5, Carroll of Flora. They're 7-0 versus 2A opponents, boasting the 4th best offense in the class. They're 29th in the state, scoring 59 points per game. They also have top 20 scorer in the state, Allie Harness, who averages 21 points per game. So give me Carroll of Flora to win sectional 38.
Same with me. Give me Carroll with this one as well. They've been taking it to 2A opponents this year, and that continues on.
Sectional 39, that's the Elwood sectional. I'm going with number 4, Eastbrook. The only loss for the 19-1 Panthers came against 3A Norwell. They're 3rd offensively in 2A, 21st in the state, scoring 60 points per game. They're also 4th defensively in 2A, 11th in the state, allowing 33 points per game. So top 5, both offense and defense-wise. So give me Eastbrook.
This one's a tough one for me. Let's see. I had it. Hold on. I had it, and then, you know, how these things work. You just lose it. Okay, I'm actually going with Blackford. Give me Blackford in this one. Just to be, I don't know, just a little bit of a difference there. But yeah, I feel confident in Blackford, Hartford City.
I mean, and I was between. It was a toss-up between those two schools. I mean, both schools are really good. Both have strong defenses. So we'll see what happens when that sectional tips off. Sectional 40, the Lapel sectional. I'm going with number 6, Lapel. The Bulldogs were state runner-ups last season by a point. They're at home. They've got Lanaya Wills scoring 19 points per game for the squad. That's good enough for 35th in the state in that category. Lapel has 10 wins versus 2A opponents, double that of any school in Sectional 40. They're also 4-0 versus Sectional 40 opponents as well. So Lapel absolutely having a phenomenal season. Coming back strong. No sort of lull after coming up so close last year. So the Bulldogs are riding strong. Give me Lapel to win their sectional.
Yeah, I'm taking Lapel on that one as well. They're just a really strong team this year.
Sectional 41, the Northeastern sectional, and I'm going with Northeastern. They're at home and the only school in the bracket above 500.
Yeah, Northeastern as well. That's an easy one.
Sectional 40, that is the Indianapolis-Scecina sectional, and I am going with the third-ranked Eastern Hancock Royals. The Royals got to 19-1 in large part by being a top 20 offense in the state. They averaged 61 points per game. That's second in 2A. They also have the 21st defense in Indiana, allowing 34 points per game. So a great offense and a great defense. That spells success. Give me the Royals to win sectional 42.
Yeah, I mean, I really wanted to go with Triton Central, but Eastern Hancock they're good, and I honestly, they're my pick to make it all the way to Gainbridge and cut down the net. So a little spoiler, but yeah, Eastern Hancock.
All right, let's see.
Park Tutor,
yeah. All right, so the Park Tudor sectional 43. I'm going with Sheridan in that one. The Blackhawks have a top 25 scorer in Kinsey Garner, who averages 20 points per game. But also they're the only team above 500 in sectional 43. So they're gonna have a fantastic bracket. They're gonna be hoisting a trophy, and they're gonna move on to the Sweet 16 and beyond in the tournament. So give me Sheridan to win.
Yep, I'm going with the team that's the only team with above 500 record, and that's Sheridan.
The South Putnam sectional 44. I'm going with the 12th ranked Park Heritage Wolves. They're 6-0 versus sectional 44 opponents, with the smallest margin of victory in those games being 21 points. Give me Park Heritage.
Yep, I agree. Park Heritage on this one for me as well.
Sectional 45, that's the North Decatur sectional, and I'm going with North Decatur. The Chargers were 4-3 in November, and since have gone 10-3 from that point. That November stretch included a 13-point loss to South Ripley, who is 5-0 versus sectional 45 teams. This time, North Decatur is at home, and I think they get the win this time. So I think North Decatur gets the win and wins the sectional.
Yep, I agree. North Decatur is my winner of that sectional as well.
The Providence sectional 46, and I'm going with number 9, Austin. The Eagles are 10-0 versus 2A schools, 6 of those wins coming at the expense of sectional 46 teams, and all of those wins in sectional play came by double figures.
I'm going with Providence. Again, it's home court. I feel like that's going to help. They don't have to. No, I'm not going to say that there's like a home court advantage. It's just the fact you don't have to travel. You don't have to load up on a bus and go anywhere. That could be draining, especially if you're doing it several times like you do in sectionals.
Hey, Providence. Shout out Trevor, one of our loyal listeners. So he's a Providence fan, Providence alum. So he's happy to hear that one for sure. Sectional 47, that one's going to be fun. Why? Because you've got the top 2 teams in the class in the North Knox sectional 47. You got
it sounds like a Dr. Seuss book. North Knox versus South Knox.
Yeah.
Fox wearing red socks.
Yeah, it does kind of. I like that. You've got number 1 North Knox, who is 21-1. They're 9th in 2A offensively, 46th in the state. Offensively, averaging 57 points per game. They're 6th in the class defensively, 15th in the state, allowing 33 points per game. You've got number 2 South Knox, who is 20-1. They're the top team in 2A offensively, averaging 66 points per game. They're 3rd in the state in that category. These 2 teams played in December, with North Knox winning on the road in overtime. And with a top 10 offense and defense in 2A, I think they win the rematch at home as well. So I'm going with number 1 North Knox to win the North Knox sectional. The number 1 team in 2A gets it done.
No Knox against number 1 North Knox, but I'm going with and picking number 2 South Knox. Just I had to. I've been sitting here thinking that.
Not to knock number 1 North Knox, but I think number 1 North Knox can kick rocks. Give me South Knox.
There we go.
Oh my gosh. Sectional 48, the final sectional in 2A. That's the South Spencer sectional, and I'm going with Crawford County, the 16th team in 2A. They're the only team above 500 in the bracket, so Crawford County gets it done.
Yeah, I'm going with Crawford County as well. When you're, yeah, no reasoning.
All right, so our state champion for 2A. And my state championship pick, I got to go with the number one team at some point, right? Like already I've gone with a couple of teams that were, I think Gibson Southern's number 4. I went with Snyder, who's number 5. So I got to go with the number one team at some point. So this time I'll go with North Knox to get it done. I mean, look, excuse me. The state tournament for 2A is going to be decided in the sectional 47 semis between North Knox and South Knox, right? Because you got the top two teams in the class, and whoever comes out on top is going to be. And now, granted, I mean, I guess it's because that is a semifinal game. You could be setting yourself up for a letdown the following game. But I do think the winner of that game wins the 2A title. I really wanted to go Lapel. With all that they did last year, with all the with how close they were to winning it all last year, and with no Forest Park in their way this time. But I'm going with North Knox, so I think they get it done. The number one team wins the championship and hoists the trophy at the end of the year.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm with this one. I'm going with Eastern Hancock to cut down the nets for 2A.
Moving on to 1A now.
Okay.
1A, the final that we have to cover tonight, the final 16 sectionals here. We go to sectional 49, the Morgan Township sectional. And I'm going with number 10, Tri Township. The Tigers are 18-1. They're 11-0 versus 1A opponents. They're 7-0 versus teams in Class 2A and higher. And then they defeated Morgan Township, the home team, and the team with the second best record in the bracket by 16 earlier this month. So give me Tri Township to win sectional 49.
Yeah, I like Tri Township as well in this one.
Sectional 50, the Culver sectional. I'm going with number 3, Marquette Catholic. The Blazers are the only team above 500 in that bracket. So give me Marquette Catholic.
Marquette Catholic. Winning record. It goes a long way.
Oh yeah. Lakewood Park, the sectional 51. I'm going with number 11, Bethany Christian. The Bruins have a top 20 scorer in the state in Zoe Willems. Williams averages 21 points per game, 10 rebounds, 5 steals, and 5 assists per game. They also have the 18th best defense in Indiana, 8th in 1A, allowing 33 points per game, with the top scorer in the state and one of the better defenses in the class. The Bruins have my pick. Bethany Christian wins sectional 51.
I am actually going with Marquette Catholic in sectional 41. Did I get my...
You got it mixed up. They were in sectional 50.
Okay. Yes. Bethany Christian. Yeah, I got things mixed up. It was bound to happen after a while. Wait, I think I am lost. I thought we were on. Wow, it's been a long day. Okay, so yes, sectional 51. You are correct. Yeah, I'm going with Bethany Christian as well here. Just got lost up in my notes.
No, you're good. I mean, look, like I said before, it's a lot of brackets to go through. When you're looking at all this stuff. So no, I do not blame you. It's a lot to sift through. There's a lot going on. Bethany Christian's is a really tough team. You got them as well?
Yes.
Gotcha. Sectional 52. That's the South Newton sectional. I'm going with number 4, Caston. The 18-1 Comets have the best defense in the state, only allowing 29 points per game. So they are locked down defensively, and I think they get it done.
Yeah, I was really torn between them and Tri-County, but that defense of Caston really just stands out to me, and that can really grind on your opponent. So yeah, give me Caston as well.
Moving on to sectional 53, the Northfield sectional, and I'm going with the home team. Every team in the bracket is under 500, so home team again, they get it done.
Yep, Northfield for me as well.
Sectional 54, that's the Attica sectional. I'm going with number 5, Clinton Central. They're 20-1. Their only loss coming to 2A, Carroll, Florida. They're not Carroll, Florida. They're 4-0 versus sectional 54 teams. All victories coming by 15 plus points. So they have been really strong against their sectional opponents. So give me Clinton Central.
Yep, I agree. This one's going to be Clinton Central as well.
Anderson Prep, the sectional 55 sectional. I'm going with Anderson Prep. Again, another bracket with no team above 500. So give the nod to the home team, Anderson Prep.
Yep, same here, Anderson Prep.
Although I should have just taken an opportunity to give a shout out to Cowan because Cowan's in that sectional. Been like, hey, my alma mater, go Cowan Blackhawks. Give them. Sectional 56, that's the Union City sectional. I'm going with number 9, Try. The Titans are 5-0 against sectional opponents, and all of those wins have come by margins of 11 points or more. They also allow 35 points per game, good enough for 14th in 1A, 31st in the state. So they have a strong defense. They've been good against their fellow sectional opponents, so give me Try to win that one.
I agree. I'm taking Try as well.
The Bloomfield sectional, sectional 57. I am taking Shakamak. The Lakers are 15-6, 10-2 versus 1A opponents. They're 5-1 in sectional play and boast the 7th best defense in 1A. They allow 33 points per game, 17th in Indiana.
Yeah, I agree. I'm taking Shakamak as well, but mostly because I like that name.
Yeah, it is a nice. Well, so I was a little torn because speaking of Cowan, that is the team, Shakamak, that beat Cowan in the baseball state championships the one year that Cowan made it there. So I was a little torn having to pick them, but it is still fun.
You got to give a shout out to Cowan's wrestling team that just had a great performance in the team state duels.
Oh yeah.
So big shout out to Cowan there.
Well, and not only are they called Shakamak, but they're also the Lakers. So those are two great names. Because I always love high school teams. Like obviously, so there's some high school teams that have off the wall names, but then like for every off the wall name, you get like the generic ones. You get the Eagles, you get the Warriors, you get the whatever. But yeah, when you see it, teams like the Lakers, the Satellites. I always like to see stuff like that. So
I always like Wapahani.
The Raiders.
Well, just because Wapahani always stands out to me because they were in my high school's regional for track and field, and we went. My dad and I went to go check that out, and compared to Lawrence North Central, like these like big time track programs, Wapahani finished way behind everybody. And no offense to Wapahani, but my dad always, there they are. We're just gonna call them Walk Behind Me.
Walk Behind Me. That is not what Cowan, as Cowan's rival, that is not what we called them. It had something to do with Heine.
Walk Behind Me.
Well, yeah. But no, that's surprising that they're in the same class as Lawrence North or something, because that's like
it's track. There's no classes.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Okay, well then okay. Because I was gonna say, because I was like, Wapahani is like literally 2A for everything else, so that's kind of odd that they would be in there.
There's those there are sports that are classless, and track is one of them.
Hey, I don't think any sports are classless. All right, B. Scott. Moving on to sectional 58. That's the Indianapolis Metropolitan sectional. I'm going Bethesda Christian here. They've got the best record in the bracket at 15-4. They beat Indiana Def, who does have the second best record in the bracket by 17 on January 4th. So that big win, it was recent. So I think that, because sometimes these wins that are big happen like in November, and so you're like, well, that's a different team than they are now, so you kind of, take that with a grain of salt. When it happens in the same month, you kind of continue with that result. So give me Bethesda Christian.
Yeah, I'm going with Bethesda Christian as well on this one. I just looking over everything, I think it's them again. I really wanted to pick Indiana Def, but Bethesda Christians, they have a good team.
The Eminence sectional 59, and I'm going with Eminence again. Another fantastic team name, the Eels. They're 15. Yeah. They're 15-6. Another team in the bracket is Indy Lutheran, who's 12-7. They have the best two records in the sectional. Lutheran did beat Eminence by 5 at home on January 13th. So give me the Eels at home in the rematch. I'm going Eminence here.
I'm taking Lutheran. just a coin toss for me, and it comes down to Lutheran.
Sectional 60, the Southwestern Shelbyville sectional. And I'm going with number 7, Jackson Dell. I mean, take your pick here. You've got 17-4 Jackson Dell. You've got 15-4 Oldenburg Academy. You've got 13-9 South Decatur. Ultimately, I'm going with the highest ranked team here, and the only team in sectional the only team in the sectional in the top 100 according to the Sagarin rating. So I'm going Jackson Dell here.
Yeah, I'm going with Jackson Dell as well. That's just a program that's had some consistency.
Yeah, they're usually got really strong athletics. Sectional 61, that's the West Washington sectional, and I am going with number 1 Lanesville, the Fighting Greg Rakestraws. They are 20-1. They're the defending champs, 11-0 versus 1A opponents, 5-0 in sectional play. They have the best offense in the class with 58 points per game. That's 40th in Indiana. They're 9th best in defensively in the class, allowing 34 points per game. That's 22nd in the state. Need I say more? I mean, they're the top in all these different categories. They're, like I said, 11-0 versus 1A opponents, 5-0 in sectional play. They're just been dominant again. So give me Lanesville to win the sectional.
Yeah, I'm picking Lanesville as well. They're really good.
Really good yet again. Could they repeat? Stay tuned.
I think they're my pick.
Spoilers. Spoiler alert. Sectional 62, the new Washington sectional, and I'm going with Trinity Lutheran. At 10-10, they have the best record in the sectional, so go Cougars.
Yeah, I'm going with Trinity Lutheran as well. And with that 10-10 record, they sneak into the top 25 on Max Preps, coming in at 25. So give me Trinity Lutheran.
Ranked. Let's go.
Yeah.
Second to last, the penultimate sectional that we're going to discuss tonight, the Bar Reeves sectional, sectional 63. I'm going with number 7, Orleans. It's a toss-up between them and number 6, Springs Valley. Both have 18-plus wins. Both have top 20 defenses in the class, top 50 defenses in the state, and average in the high 40s in terms of points per game. Spring Valley beat Orleans by 4 on the road in December, so I'm just going to fade that result in the potential rematch. So give me number 7, Orleans, to win the Bar Reeves sectional.
I'm going with Springs Valley in this one. No, again, coin toss, one of the coin toss sectional, and Springs Valley came up as the winner for me.
Final sectional. It is the Wood Memorial sectional, sectional 64. I'm going with Tecumseh. Everyone in the final sectional is around 500, but the 2022 1A champs are the only team with a spotless record versus sectional opponents, so give me Tecumseh.
Is it Tecumseh or Tecumseh?
It's well, so I said when we did the previews a couple of years ago, Hoosier High School Huddle, shout out. I said Tecumseh the whole time, and then when I watched the broadcast, they all said Tecumseh, so I'll defer to them because they were the ones like interviewing everybody all week and in the weeds. So I was like, okay, I'm going with that. So I think it's Tecumseh.
All right, you know what? Just because I'm not sure, I'm going with Wood Memorial.
The home team.
Look, they come in the top 20 on Max Preps as well. But just close to behind Tecumseh, who's at 14 on Max Preps. So I'm just going just because it got to be a little bit different than you here. So Wood Memorial is.
So we wrap things up tonight with our state championship pick for 1A. And I am going to go with because I got to get weird. I've picked
Oh yeah.
I've picked top 5 teams all night.
Yeah.
So I got to get
smart so far.
Right. So I got to get weird. The right answer is probably Lanesville to repeat, right? That's probably the right answer here. But I'm going to go with Bethany Christian to win the championship. Again, Zoe Willems is a monster. She's averaging a double-double a game with 5 assists and 5 steals per game to boot. And the Bruins have a top 20 defense. She averages 21 points per game, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 steals. I mean, she is an absolute force on the basketball court. And I think that's going to be a difference. She's going to help lead this team, will this team through the tournament. There's going to be a team, you mentioned it a little bit earlier. There's going to be a team that surprises us in the tournament, and I think Bethany Christian is that team. Give me Give me the Bruins to win the 1A state championship.
You know what? I'm taking Lanesville for the repeat. You know, you're still the champion until you are dethroned. They have the best team in 1A yet again. So I'm going with the defending champs to repeat.
Okay, so my picks were 4A Fort Wayne Snyder. It was 3A Gibson Southern, 2A North Knox, and 1A Bethany Christian. Remind me of yours one more time, B. Scott.
Oh boy, yeah, I was afraid you were going to ask that.
It was 4A. It was 4A Lawrence North.
Lawrence North.
It was
4A. Let me get to 3A here.
1A Lanesville.
1A Lanesville. I think 2A. 3A was Washington.
Right.
And then 2A, who did I have here? I do not remember who I had here.
Yeah, Eastern Hancock. That's who.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. So I wanted to say it because we want to come back here when we do the preview of the state championship picks. We want to see where we went wrong, who actually made it to the big show come the end of February, and see where our picks went right, where they went wrong. Because I'm sure there's going to be plenty that went wrong and plenty that went right. Because that's how tournaments go. But that will do it. And hey, we're clocking out here at 1 hour and 6 minutes. So we said at the beginning that 64 minutes. We were at like the 3-minute mark. So we're about.
Well, it's because we got off topic with the Dr. Seuss rhyming.
we did spend a little bit of time busting rhymes,
and then I got lost along the way.
Look again, there's a lot of stuff to go through, so it can be tough. But we thank you guys all for tuning into the podcast. Remember that you can like us on Facebook, 3C Media. Go follow us over on Twitter at 3C Media Sports. If you're listening to us on the podcast apps, go subscribe to us on the YouTube channel, 3C Media over there. While you're at it, go ahead and head on over to TikTok as well and follow us there. And then if you're on YouTube watching us there, go over and you want to listen to us on the go, listen to us on the podcast apps. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever podcasts can be heard. You can hear the Crash Course podcast. You can follow me at Crash Course FM on Twitter. B. Scott, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Brandon_Scott87.
Next week, we will know who our Super Bowl champion or Super Bowl teams will be. So we're going to do our Super Bowl.
You almost leaked the script.
I did, yeah. Oh, well, you know what? That's good. That's a good tease because I do want to talk about something related to that next week. So stay tuned. We will talk about the Super Bowl next week. Everybody get ready for the sectional basketball. It's going to be a lot of fun. But until next week, have a good one, everybody.